So today we are doing a beginner's guide to utilizing SoFi Invest. Now we're going to be here in the app in real time so you can follow along step by step, and we're currently going to be on an iOS device. So keep in mind that Android might look a little bit different. All right, so we're here on the main page of our SoFi account, which is the home tab when you open up your account. And what we're going to want to do is slide all the way over to the right-hand side over here that says invest and has those little graphs. We're going to click on this, and that's going to take us to our SoFi Invest page. Now, before we move on to any other information with this beginner's guide for SoFi Invest, if you do not already have a SoFi account and are looking to open one up, we'll have a QR code here on screen to go ahead and scan or screenshot, or the link in the show notes down below, which will also give you a nice sign up bonus going with our link, as well as helping us out to continue to make more free content just like this. Now, what's also great is in the show notes down below, even if you already have your account opened up, we'll have some additional resources that you can utilize when it comes to investing to help you for your financial future. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the interface, and then I'm going to show you how to buy and sell, as well as adding money into your SoFi Invest account, as well as some really cool bonuses if you are a SoFi Plus member. So you can see here, we currently have $20 in our account as a whole. You can see down here, we actually can have multiple different kind of accounts, and we'll talk about that in just a sec. And from here, it's going to show you the amount of money that you are either up or down for the time period that you're selecting, as well as the percentage. So if you tap over to the month, the 6-month time period, you'll see some changes here with the graphs, as well as year to date, 1 year, and then your max as well too. Now, going down here just a little bit, you're going to see the accounts that you might have open. So this might be a little confusing at first, but consider you can have multiple different types of accounts with the SoFi Invest. So the first one is called the self-directed. This is the one where you kind of do most of the choosing on the account for yourself. And if you click on create new account, you'll see a couple different options. You'll have the robo one, which is the automatic investing. If you want to really go all hands off, you also have the option for retirement, whether it's a self-directed IRA or the robo IRA. So you could technically have a robo one and a self-directed. Ours is just self-directed. So this is going to be in that journey, which most people will have. Now, next here is going to be what they call the buying power, as well as the withdrawable cash. Now, the reason they show these two numbers is because if you are recently selling something, you might not have all of that money available to withdraw just yet, as it takes time to go through the process of settling. So you'll see a little down arrow here. If we click on this, this will actually bring up a little bit more information for you. You can see again how much you have available for buying power, which is what you can spend right now in stocks for the current time period. Now you'll see a little button here that says add cash. If you go ahead and click on here, this is going to take you to the add cash portion. So you can go ahead and toss in how much you want to go ahead and add in. So the amount for this example would be $10. Now it will automatically choose your from section to be the SoFi checking account if you do have one. And if you don't, you can add in some external accounts, or you can open up a SoFi checking account as well. But if that's not the account you want to use, you just go ahead and click on this section here. And then from here, you're going to see all the different accounts you have on file. So any external accounts, as well as your SoFi. Now you can also go ahead and click link new account if you want to go ahead and add something new into this account. If everything looks good, you can click on done here at the bottom. Now where it's going to obviously is the self-directed, but we talked about earlier, you can have multiple types of accounts like IRAs or the robo one. So you can click on here and choose which one it goes to. Now, what's also nice is there is the option over here where it says one time today. If you click on here, it gives you the option to do a reoccurring, which is a great way to go through the process of being consistent with your investing. But before you choose to do a consistent weekly or bi-weekly type of deposit, you can actually go ahead, and I'll show you how in a little bit, to do reoccurring investments to a very specific fund in your portfolio, which might make it even easier than just automatically depositing money into the invest account. So for our example here today, we're just going to keep it at the one time, click done. And then from here, all you got to do is click on review. And then if everything here looks good, you just go ahead and slide to add cash, and you will be all set with that additional money sitting in your account. Keeping in mind that if it is going to be from SoFi, that money transfers automatically. If it's from an external account, there will be some money available pretty quickly, but the majority of it might not show up until a couple of days later once that amount has been transferred officially. All right, so we went ahead and hopped all the way back over here to kind of that homepage of our invest section. And I mentioned earlier, if you by chance have SoFi and SoFi Plus, there is this option right over here, which is really cool, to get unlimited 1% match on reoccurring investing deposits. So that will actually just earn you a little bit of extra money. Now, it does say it gets paid in reward points, which is just something that you can redeem back into your either checking, savings, or even into your investing account if you'd like. All right, so the next thing we want to do is just continue to scroll down here so we can show you some of the other things here. There is a watch list, so if you later on find stocks or companies you want to kind of keep an eye on, you can add them to your watch list, which will be here on the main page. Going down here, it's going to show you some additional options like in the future with crypto coming back onto the platform, dividend reinvesting, margins, and some other things here, which we won't get too far into as this is a beginner's guide, but just knowing that there are additional options you can have. And then down here, you're going to see any recent activities as well too that are going to be showing up here on your account. So let's go ahead and scroll back up here towards the top where you're going to see the account types with the self-directed. Let's go ahead and click in this section here. And this is going to take you to this portfolio's particular account. So again, if you have like an IRA or the Robo, those will now be separated as far as data points. But because our $20 is in this account, we're just going to see that same dollar amount up here at the top and the similar performance. Now in here, you're going to see your total returns. Now ours is in red just because of how we kind of run this account here, but you might see it in green or red depending on if it's up or down. Any contributions that you're going to be adding in here, as well as any dividends that you earn as well, which is really nice. So you can kind of keep track of how much you've earned in those dividends. Now, if we keep scrolling down here, this is where if you have investments, they will show up here for you. So if you have something like an Apple stock or you have Amazon stock or you have any ETFs on here as well, this is where you're gonna be able to see it. Now, because we don't, it's going to say that we can explore some securities, which is what we're going to do next. There's a few things we want to talk about as far as looking for the different types of funds that we want to invest in. You can click on explore securities. You can click the little magnifying glass icon up here, or you can click the left and right arrow that you've probably seen throughout the video so far. And if you click on that, you're going to see over here a couple of different options as well, one of which is buy and sell. So all of these three options essentially will take us very similar to this page right over here, which is our search and discovery page. Now from here at the very top, you can search for particular stocks or funds or options. So from here, you can type in the company names that you want to be looking for or their ticker numbers as well. If we keep scrolling down here, you're going to see very popular stocks or funds like VOO, which is following the S&P 500, Nvidia, Amazon, even SoFi themselves. And if you keep scrolling down here, you'll see different types of alternative assets, such as private market or just in general calling them alternative assets. You can go into those a little bit deeper, but for today's beginner's guide, we're just letting you know that they exist, but not necessarily diving in too deep. All right, so let's scroll back here towards the top and let's go ahead and click on this search bar here. And well, it's right over here for us, our recent searches. We're going to want to look at this ETF called VOOG, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 Growth Fund. So we're going to click on this. This is one that I love to use. It's very similar to the VOO fund. It's just the top 250 companies in the market cap over here. So what we're going to do is look at this information here first and foremost is the details of this fund. If it's an individual stock, it'll be that company's individual information, such as market cap, dividend yield, if there's an expense ratio, and then the 52-week highs and lows. So some very basic information. And if you want to learn more or dive in deeper with these funds or stocks, I typically like to use seekingalpha.com, which I'll have a link to them in the show notes down below. But there's a lot of other websites you can go in much, much deeper than what they have here. Now, if you scroll down, it shows you the top holdings because this is an ETF, which is essentially just a group of a bunch of stocks. So what's nice, and this is why I like using VOOG, is it has companies like Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla, like all the biggest names that you pretty much know and most people love. So it's all there for us. Now, if you keep on scrolling down, there is a social aspect here to it as well, where it will show you if people, want to share when they buy or sell a certain stock or when they're following it. Just kind of a little way to kind of engage with the community of people that are also investing. Now, anywhere on this screen while we're here, you can either scroll back to the top or stay at the bottom there. You're going to see those two arrows pointing left and right, but now has the word trade next to it. So if we click on this, it's going to have two options. We can either buy here or we can do reoccurring. Now, if you already own this fund or individual stocks, there will also be the sell option here for you as well. So the sell option is going to be very similar to the buying option. But for our example here today, we are going to go ahead and just show you the buy option. And from here, it's going to take you to this new section. It'll have the ticker number here at the top. And then to the right of that, it'll say dollars. And if we click on this, we're going to have options to do either dollars or shares. And you can also do what they call limit orders. Now, we want to make this super simple and super basic and easy for everybody. So we're going to go with dollars as a way to kind of go through this process. And after this one, I'll show you how to do the reoccurring and what that looks like as well, because that's my favorite way to help people make sure you're set up for success for the long term. Now for here, it's going to ask you how much you would like to invest with, and we're going to do $5 for example here today. Remember, we have a buying power of $20 because that's what's in our account. And again, if we wanted to go through and have more money coming in on a regular basis, we definitely can. Now, next up here, it's going to show you the market price, which is $417.15. And this is what I love about companies like SoFi Invest or even other companies that allow for what they call fractional shares, because typically you had to spend all $417 to be able to buy a share of this holding. But with SoFi Invest, you can actually have what they call those fractional shares. So you will be buying 0.01199 shares. So a very small portion of this entire fund that you can be buying one of. But now, because we only are doing $5 at a time here, we are still able to buy a small portion of this fund. And every time you keep buying more, whether it's $5 at a time or $20 here, $50 there, it'll accumulate all the shares together. And eventually you'll have one full share and then continue to go on from there. Now from here, it also is letting us know that the market is closed. So this is something to keep in mind, depending on when you are making this order go through. If the market's closed, it's not going to go in until the next morning. But if it is open, it most likely will go through as quickly as possible. So from here, you just click on the word review. And if everything looks good here at the very bottom, they have that little $sign and it says slide to confirm. We're just going to go ahead and have that go across here for us. And you can see here, it says your order has been scheduled and that the next trade window, it will go through. You can go ahead and click on view transaction if you like, or click on done. And that is set up for our one-time purchase when it comes to investing in this fund. Now, I did also mention that you can set up reoccurring as you saw earlier. So let's go ahead and show you how that's going to look like too. So you saw we clicked on the word trade again, and now you see up here, it says reoccurring. Let's click on this. Now from here, and again, this is what I love and I would recommend personally for myself, is you can choose to do every week, every 2 weeks, or every single month. A great thing to do is if you get paid every week or 2 weeks, I would go on that same date. But for our example here today, we're going to do every Monday and click on next. And here it's going to ask, how much would you like to invest every single week? Even $5 a week is going to make a big difference in your journey, and you can always increase that as time goes on, but this at least gets your foot in the door, starts building out your position, and then you'll see that really start to roll up in your favor in the long term. So let's go ahead and click on $5 here, but again, you can always change this in the future. We're going to click on next. Now from here, it's going to ask you the payment method. And this is why I prefer this over just auto deposits inside the account, because I want this to just happen as quickly and easy as possible without you having to lift a finger once this is set up. So from here, it's going to say which payment method you want to use, which is going to be the SoFi checking account. Again, if you have a SoFi account, it's going to default to this. Now, if you have an external account, you can click right over here where it says SoFi checking and choose that account instead. So for our example, we're going to keep the SoFi checking in here. And then the next section here, it says use buying power first. So it says if you run out of buying power, which is the cash in there, we'll use your linked payment method. Now you could toggle this off if you would like to, but I prefer to have this on. If we have money sitting in the account, let's use it right away and rebuild into it. If we have dividends coming in, we want that money going right back into this same fund. So this is going to be a great way to go. Now it's going to have the self-directed account, which is the one we have, and then the frequency, which is every week, and then the total dollar amount. If any of these you want to change, you can go ahead and just highlight right over them, and it'll take you kind of one step back to go ahead and set it up to a different date or a different amount. Now, if everything here looks good, we're going to click on confirm. And then right over here, probably my favorite thing to see, it says reoccurring VOOG investment is confirmed. And it says your next placement will be on the next given date, depending on when you get this started. So for us, we're going to go ahead and click on done. And then that's going to take us back over here. Now you did see that the buying power dropped $5. That was when we did our just individual purchase, not the reoccurring, because the reoccurring won't pull any of the money from the buying power until that next transaction goes through, which is that every Monday as we set it up for that account. Now, if for any reason you need to withdraw any of your money from your SoFi Invest account, now that we're right over here, again, we only have the self-directed, so we don't really have to go anywhere further. All we got to do is click the left and right arrows over here. Plus it says trade sometimes when you kind of hover close to it. And then from here, there is the withdraw option. So we're going to click on here. And this is going to take us to our withdrawal section. So you can put in however much you want. For example, we'll just do $5. From here, it's going to be the self-directed, but if you have the robo investing, you can switch back and forth, and then where you want to go ahead and send it to. Again, if you have a SoFi checking account, it will default to that automatically, but just like adding money in, you can switch it to any external account to have that money go in. And then all you got to do is click on review, make sure everything here looks good, and then you can slide to go ahead and withdraw. Keeping in mind that even when it's sending back to a SoFi checking account, it can still take a day to 2 days to have it transferred over. So just keep that in mind, but it will pull it from your actual investing account as quickly as possible. Now, there are a couple settings we want to go over when it comes to having your SoFi Invest account. So what we're going to do is actually go into our self-directed account. And at the very top right, next to the magnifying glass, you'll see the gear icon. So let's click on this. And from here, you're going to see some information on here. Some of it is actually what we saw earlier and another way to get to that same place, such as adding money, withdrawing if we wanted to as well. But there's a couple other things as well we want to look at. There's a way you can add trusted contacts so they can be reached out to if something happens to you. They also have the social sharing. If you don't want to be sharing any of your purchases, you can go in here and change those out. So you can go ahead and just toggle that on or off. And then they also have probably one of the most important settings that we want to check in on, which is the dividend reinvestment. This is one of my favorite words in investing. So I want to go ahead and show you the setting here. So this pretty much means that if a company pays you out any income from holding any kind of fund or stocks, that what do you want to do with that money? So dividend reinvesting is essentially saying if a company or a fund paid you out in income, it will buy back into whatever paid out. Now you can look over here. They have some additional information if you want to learn more. And for us, I love having this toggled on. So if you switch this on, you're going to see this change up here in just a moment for us. All right, so that had it over here. So now it's over to the right and in blue. So now that means our dividends are going to get reinvested, and that's a great thing. So let's go ahead and hop back over here. There is also right over here what they call share lending. So share lending over here just means that you can earn some additional income for the shares that you do have. You can learn more about them as well. If you want them toggled on or off, you can see over here, you can toggle them off so you don't do it. But if you don't mind it and want to earn a little bit more money, you can leave it toggled on, and it will show you how much you actually earn on the total shares that you have. And the easiest way to kind of go over this is you're essentially lending out your shares, but you're not selling them and you're not putting them at risk. So for that, you can actually earn a little bit of extra money. And that goes into your buying power, which then can be reinvested into your actual funds. Now, also in the account management settings here, there is cash sweep. So over here, you can also check out cash sweep if you want to go through this process and have your brokerage go into a cash sweep. You can enroll into this program as well, keeping your money a little bit safer as well when you are not having it used or invested. Now, another setting over here in your account is your self-directed account nickname. You can go ahead and put this as any kind of name you'd like to make it easier. Maybe you have a certain goal or focus. Maybe it's a dividend portfolio, or maybe it's in a growth portfolio, or you just want to be a leave it alone, don't touch it portfolio. You can nickname it anything you like in this section right over here. So back here in the self-directed page, if we scroll back down, we saw earlier there is a recent activities section here. You can see the VOOG that we're doing the one-time purchase of. But then if you go ahead and click over to scheduled, you can actually see your reoccurring over here as well. So you can actually go ahead and see when it's coming out, how much it's going, if in case you forgot. And then if you did want to go ahead and change it, just click over here and you can go ahead and edit that investment, whether you want to increase it or add an additional frequency if you want to be investing more often. So whichever way you got it started, you can always edit it later. And if you absolutely needed to, you can cancel that investment as well. Now, in case you need to cancel a pending order, it's going to be fairly similar. All we got to do is scroll back here because I went to the very top and go to recent activities. You'll see any pending orders right over here. And if you just click on here, it's going to take you to the option right over here to go ahead and cancel. Now, keeping in mind that if you did this during the market open, it most likely already went through. So you would have to go through the sell process. But from here, we can still go ahead and cancel by clicking cancel order. And then just confirming if you want to do that by hitting yes. And then that order has been canceled and you see that buying power goes back up in real time. Now, if by any chance you also have an account that you want to transfer over from another brokerage, you can go ahead and go to the left and right arrows or the word trade if it's showing up and click on transfer assets. In here, you could transfer from a brokerage, you could transfer your IRA or even roll over a 401k. And as of this recording, they actually do a 1% match on that as well. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if you do not already have your SoFi Invest account up and running, you can go ahead and check out our link in the show notes down below or the QR code here on screen by screenshotting it or getting a photo of it. That link will get you a nice sign up bonus using our link, which also supports us out so we can make more free content just like this. And remember, we're also going to have some additional resources for investing in the show notes down below if you already have your SoFi account up and running and still want to support us out as well. Now, once you got your SoFi Invest account up and running, we have more to show you when it comes to using your financial apps and services. So check our next video right over here on screen to keep on learning.